Assignment education on KET is made possible with generous support from
The Neighbor Carter Group at Baird. Wealth management with quality, perspective, honesty, and integrity. The Neighbor Carter Group.rwbaird.com.
I'm Sam Corbett on Assignment Education, the show that shines the spotlight on positive things happening in schools throughout the Commonwealth. We'll examine important issues related to education while always seeking out the good news. This time, we talked to Kentucky's Education Commissioner about the challenges facing schools this fall and strategies to get back to normal.
I hope that it's going to be a better than normal year.
Plus, the ongoing challenge of finding good teachers, how Kentucky is recruiting talent in some non-traditional ways.
Sweet spot for us is a biology major, chemistry major, math major.
And a new approach to cutting down on meltdowns in the classroom.
It's how we all calm down and we be present in the classroom.
It makes us kind of feel better and more happy.
See how it works and the results teachers are seeing firsthand. And marching to the beat of their own drums. We go behind the scenes of a legendary after-school program where kids are learning with rhythm.
You get to really express yourself and be pretty creative.
And we begin in Frankfort at the Kentucky Department of Education, where they're focused on what school will look like in the fall. Right now, we're with the Commissioner of Education for the state of Kentucky, Dr. Jason Glass. Commissioner, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you, Sam. Great to see you.
We spoke several months ago when we really were in the middle of the past school year and in the middle of everything related to the coronavirus situation. We're now approaching the next school year, which will be your second school year as commissioner. What's going to be different this fall from what we've experienced the last year to year and a half?
Well, this past year was really extraordinary in that everyone was trying to find some way to keep learning going and make it meaningful for students in spite of COVID. But there were all of these steps that we had to have in place with virus mitigation efforts, the screenings, the mask wearing, the social distancing, the hybrid schedules, this transition to remote learning, and then coming back in person that we had to put in place to try and keep our students and our communities safe. So I'm really proud of the education community and the way that they survived that, and we did not see our schools becoming vectors for the virus in communities or in the state. We're not aware of any school-based transmissions in Kentucky, and so I think that's a testament to how well our school personnel and our students work to manage COVID and keep learning going. But we're excited about looking forward to this next year, and really the next few years, and how we think about what has been a disrupted and a really difficult past year, and then look forward to what may be 3 extraordinary years of learning and experiences for students.
Can our students and families expect that this upcoming year is going to be a normal year, quote unquote?
Well, I hope that it's going to be a better than normal year, because I think there were things that we learned in the course of this pandemic that can make our education system more flexible, more human, more meaningful for students that I think we can carry forward. For example, the reliance on and supporting students in being more independent in their work, learning in different ways outside of school, using what we call synchronous or learning together and asynchronous learning independently techniques. All of these things are differences that can make the learning environment more meaningful and rich and authentic for students. And so I believe those will be things that we will carry forward and hopefully make our education system better than it was before the pandemic.
So as we mentioned, you're starting your second school year and you're approaching your 1-year anniversary as commissioner. What's the 1 or 2 things that really stand out about Kentucky schools that you've observed since you've been in this role?
Well, I grew up in Kentucky, so this is home for me, and coming back here to do this work in this state is an incredible professional honor. But I've also been gone for almost 2 decades, and so there's been a lot of changes and improvements and shifts in the education system in that time that I've been away. I think the thing that I'm most impressed with, that's something that I was certainly aware of, it was here when I grew up in Kentucky, was the connection between the community and schools and how important that is all across the state, especially in rural parts of the state where you really see the school being the center of the community, and everyone identifies as a bobcat or a tiger or whatever it is in that community. In my case, it was a green wave in Meade County, but that tight connection between community and school, and so that's something that's still here that I think is really powerful in Kentucky. But I'm also impressed with and pleased to see that spirit of innovation that Kentucky was known for in the 1990s after KET, and that momentous, nationally recognized shift to try and improve learning that lifted Kentucky from the bottom levels of performance really up into the mid-range, which is an extraordinary leap. That spirit is here as well, and there's a real desire among Kentuckians, I think now, to think about what's next and how can we grow and improve our education system to make learning experiences meaningful and have an impact on our students for the course of their lives.
For many of us who were involved in the education system when the Education Reform Act kicked into gear in the 90s and saw that improvement to where we kind of rose to mid-pack, what is there that will allow us to move even higher and be even better as we compare ourselves to other states?
Well, one of the things that we've been doing in my time as commissioner is holding listening tours around the state. And really that's an effort to talk to the people who are in the schools, who are in our communities, who are working in the schools or attending them, and hear their perspectives on what's working and what's not working. And we call those empathy interviews, and we, through those listening tours, heard from around 1,200 people in the state of their perspectives and thoughts. So we gathered a lot of information. From that, we have, I think, a much better picture of what's working and what's not working. So going forward, we hope that we can develop a future vision for Kentucky that's based on the impressions and thoughts and feelings and perspectives of Kentuckians. So we're not coming in and saying this is the commissioner's vision or the governor's, the legislatures. It's not a politically driven agenda. It's an effort to listen to the people who are within our schools, in our communities, in our systems in the state, and hear from them what we need to do differently and how we need to change schools to prepare our kids for their future.
As part of some of the stimulus acts that are coming out of the federal government, we're seeing a fair amount of money that's flowing through to the states and cities and school systems. Is there going to be some opportunities with financial resources for our school districts that are there as a result of the stimulus acts?
Absolutely. We've had really 3 waves of COVID relief funding, and the last one was over $2 billion for Kentucky. Most of that is going directly to school districts and into schools. It needs to be focused on some kind of COVID relief effort, but really there's a great deal of flexibility on how school districts can use those funds. We've encouraged and supported our school districts to think about how they can, looking back over this past year where we know students missed out on so many experiences, how they can use these funds going forward over the next 3 years to create incredible experiences for our students. So I do believe that even though our students in our schools and the people working in them suffered so much over this past year, we are on the precipice of what will be an incredible 3 years of experiences going forward. We're going to go from a year of awful to 3 years of awesome.
Right. So you've done a lot of listening, reached out to a lot of people. What's the 1 or 2 things that, as commissioner, keep you up at night? That you wake up at 3:30 in the morning and go, oh gosh, how am I going to deal with this issue?
Well, this is a political job for sure. I knew that going in, and understand that when you work as a commissioner of education, part of your job is instructional and it's supporting schools, but part of it is political. I really hope that on the political side, that those in positions of political power will slow down and hear from Kentuckians around what's working and what's not working and where we need to go going forward. That our path forward is built on the perspectives of those actually working in and experiencing our schools. And that we don't get hijacked and derailed by politically driven agendas or reform ideas. That's what keeps me up at night, is can we make sure that our efforts going forward really are built on the perspectives of Kentuckians that are real and genuine and what their wants and needs are for our schools going forward.
Final question, as commissioner, obviously you started as a teacher years ago, so what advice would you give our students and our parents as we look ahead to this next school year that, as you suggest, will make these next 3 years spectacular, particularly as compared to what we've been through the last year or two?
I would advise them to take advantage of every learning opportunity that their communities and their school districts are going to provide over these next few years. There really is going to be an explosion of great opportunities to learn, to have incredible experiences, to connect with other students, for staff members to work and grow together, for communities to come together. While we've been sort of sheltering in place and afraid of this virus over the past year, there are going to be all these opportunities to break through that in some incredible ways. And so take advantage of that. Get out and have those experiences, and let's make these next 3 years incredible.
Well, Commissioner, thanks for joining us on Assignment Education today. As I think you know, our goal is to shine the spotlight on positive things that are happening in schools with students and administrators throughout the Commonwealth. And so it's great to hear that you're so optimistic about the future because, as you and I both know, there are great things happening every day in schools, and we just need to let people know.
That's right. Anytime you need an infusion of optimism, you just need to visit a school and see the students and the things that they're doing, and that'll give you hope for the future.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Before COVID-19, school safety was less about health and more about other kinds of emergencies. And those concerns are sure to return once fears of the pandemic subside.
If we don't provide a safe environment, then there will not be any learning take place. So
Chris Gaddis is in charge of security for Owensboro Independent Schools, now with a new tool to keep kids safe.
it's a huge tool.
It's an app called Crisis Go that uses smartphones to send out immediate alerts throughout a school.
Everyone is receiving that alert all at the same time. Once that alert is sent out, it immediately opens up a text message group within the group of people that the alert which was sent to, and then we can follow up. We want to get their attention first. Lock down, lights out, doors locked, be safe, hold in place. Once we do that, the next thing we have to do is we have to start that communication because everyone's wanting to know what's happening, what's going on.
Our school district is really trying to do something to make our schools safer. We wanted to talk to our teachers and see what they were kind of hearing, and their number one thing was communication. You know, things happen so quickly, we need to have the quickest way to be able to hear what's going on.
Jared Revlett is the Owensboro Public Schools Public Information Officer.
We are tied in from the second a call comes in. We are able to communicate that with everybody, keep everybody safe.
I think the main reason that schools are coming to Crisis Go is they need a better way to communicate and alert staff within a school district.
Bill Reynolds is a co-founder of the Crisis Go app.
We work with about 15,000 schools across the country. The platform is highly customizable, so depending on alerts, tones, who they want to connect, it's very customizable to the school district.
Evacuate the building.
It's not all active shooter type stuff.
A gas leak, bus accident, all the platform can be used in a wide variety of ways.
And it gets the message out to so many people, it's so broad.
And they can two-way communicate. Now, if I'm a manager, I can communicate down to everyone in the group, but if I'm a staff member, I can only communicate to the managers. The managers then can take that information and then communicate either back to the entire group or one-to-one to that one specific staff member. Or they can make everyone managers in that group and you have a full two-way communication path.
The app is already proving to be effective and garnering good reviews from students to teachers and police.
It gets the information out so much quicker.
But being in on the drills and seeing how quickly students and teachers react when they get these alerts, to me, brings a sense of comfort knowing that the district is doing the right thing.
Allowing our students to feel comfortable, allowing our parents to feel comfortable sending their children to our school is a top priority.
I would say Owensboro is probably one of our most proactive customers that we have. They've been doing a very good job with rolling out the platform, not taking it too fast, but making sure that they have the adoption with their staff and to use the platform.
We started out by just saying, this is what we're going to do on opening day. We need everybody to go and download this app, It's not required, it's just suggested, and you'll understand more why. So we just kind of told everybody to go and download this app. And when we showed up on opening day, there were, a lot of people that had it, and we set that alert off. And almost right away, everybody's like, that's kind of cool. I need that.
It's such a time saver.
Scott Norris is a 31-year veteran of the Owensboro Police Department.
And the quickness of it is the main thing. I mean, it's if you've got 2 or 3 minutes where this is going on before officers get there and nobody in school knows what's going on, it turns into a chaotic event.
The quicker than they can get school teachers and staff behind a locked classroom door, the better.
It doesn't make any difference how many officers show up in gray, blue, or brown to help us. We don't have them here that first 4 or 5 minutes, and it's important for us to get the word out and do what we're supposed to do right then.
Is it a true statement to say that technology like this will save lives?
We believe it will, yes.
If we have them locked down, locked in their classrooms, all the students accounted for, no one in the hallways, that limits the possible targets for an active shooter, and will ultimately save lives.
These types of tragedies can happen anywhere. The students have really learned very quickly what the sounds mean, what they need to do, because they're distinct sounds. The sound's not the same for every different alert. You have one that's specific to a fire drill, one that's specific to an earthquake, one that's specific to an active shooter. So, these kids are learning, these are the things that we need to be listening for, and when they happen, this is what we need to do. And so they've taken to it really well also, and a lot of them kind of like the opportunity to be a leader in the classroom when they hear what's going on, and they say, this is what we need to do.
It's just one of the best tools I've seen.
And now a story from Northern Kentucky, where a unique partnership between a school system and a children's home is giving a big boost to kids in need.
We've been able to help a tremendous amount of students.
We're excited to...
Each institution does what it does best, while filling a need for the other. The school district created an alternative school here, while the children's home provides mental health services, both for its residents and students who come here just for the day.
How's your day been going? I didn't think I was gonna like it up here until I actually came up here and started working, and then I started getting the credits and everything else, and that's when I started taking off.
Couldn't be happier for our kids.
Director of Pupil Personnel for Covington's Independent Schools, Ken Kippenbrock, was one of the pioneers of the partnership.
I was challenged by the superintendent to come up with some alternatives to expulsion, and of course an alternative school is a great way to do that. And we kind of had the idea, what if we could marry these two concepts, alternative programming with the therapeutic services that the children's home could offer.
This partnership is not simply about helping a school district. It is about, truthfully, creating a new sense of health and wellness in Kentucky.
Every student is different, and so are their needs. For many, it's about managing frustration when the going gets tough. So there's a new program, pioneered right here in Kentucky, aimed at managing meltdowns in the classroom. It's a blend of innovation and meditation.
Feel the weight of your body.
Before cracking open the textbooks, students at St. Aloysius in Pee Wee Valley are learning something else.
Find a spot for meditation when I'm done.
It's a new school-wide program called CALMA.
Calm and loving minds achieve.
Principal Marianne Hazlip says it's having an important impact.
Help the kids self-regulate, help them build relationships.
It's how we all calm down and we be present in the classroom.
It makes us kind of feel better and more happy.
Calm meditation.
It helps us keep calm, so like if we can't figure out the answer, it helps us keep calm and not get all mad about it.
Before someone gets really upset, you can kind of stop them and remind them to use the tools they have. Not tell them do this or do that, but do you have a strategy you can try? Is there something you can do that might make you feel better? Because what makes me feel better may not make you feel better. But now we have some different tools we can use, and then they can kind of pick.
Calm and loving minds achieve.
Louisville's Nellie Springston developed the program while working in Texas as a behavior interventionist.
Being able to self-regulate or calm themselves down is actually a skill that I realized we needed to help them develop, just like we would help them develop math skills or reading skills, if we wanted them to just be able to calm down, we had to teach them exactly how to do that.
Kids are using what they learn inside the classroom
It helps us get better grades.
and after the bell rings.
My brother or sister will be like fighting, and then I'll tell them about like comma, and then they'll like take a few deep breaths, and then eventually they'll resolve the problem.
I take a big breath and it calms me down.
It just really helps them throughout all aspects of their life.
Counselor Jessica Shane is behind the program 100%.
If we don't teach them those skills to be successful socially and emotionally, we're not doing our job as educators.
I think it's helped a lot in terms of just decreasing frustration, kind of everyone being on the same page and knowing that it's school-wide. It's not just one teacher's project or one thing you do one year and then you don't use the next year. We're going to keep using it and keep building these skills. So it's setting them up for success in the long run, too.
You breathe, take a deep breath to calm down.
The kindergartners, how are they reacting to this?
Well, the kindergartners, it's a skill, right? Calming yourself is a skill. So the fact that we started at a smaller and younger age helps them develop it to where when they become seventh graders, the seventh graders you saw today, years from now will be even better at using these skills and be more fluent with them. The kindergartners get excited anytime they get to relax and lay down on the floor and put on cool shades. So it just gives us an extra opportunity to kind of have them dig inside of themselves and think, why do I feel this way? Am I upset because I'm justified in being upset, or am I upset because I couldn't get what I wanted in this very exact moment? Should I maybe calm down? And so the more time they have to practice that skill, the better and better they'll be, and it'll make them more productive members of society as a whole.
We're gonna do comma, and we're gonna calm ourselves.
Thanks to everyone at St. Aloysius for letting us crash their meditation session. Hopefully, we weren't too disruptive. Now to the subject of finding good teachers. It's not easy because they're in such high demand.
We're launching education careers.
Louisville is attracting new teachers from all across the country,
Love, love, love teaching.
and a lot of them majored in something other than education.
We've brought a total of 316 teachers.
Rowan Claypool heads a nonprofit group called Teach Kentucky, Inc., which recruits college graduates to become teachers in the fields of their expertise.
Sweet spot for us is a biology major, chemistry major, math major, who sometime during college figured out that education was their pathway.
I knew I wanted to teach science.
Daniela Delvescovo came to Olmsted North from the University of Tampa.
I found Teach Kentucky on my college website. That was the biggest blessing.
And her middle school students seem to feel the same way.
She has a lot of fun activities. She's a really amazing teacher.
And I really find my work here fulfilling.
Kanita Ballard went to George Mason University to become a writer, but decided teaching was her real calling.
Taking that sense of loving of literacy and reading and making it real for them.
It's fun. She is the best English teacher.
We currently have 8 teachers that came from Teach Kentucky.
Olmsted North Principal Ryan Radowski.
When you give people that are very smart the room to be creative, great things happen.
And now we're ready to close out this edition of Assignment Education with a bang. Literally, as we visit a legendary after-school program in Louisville. When it comes to extracurricular activities, these kids march to the beat of their own drums.
I love playing the drums.
They're the Louisville Leopard percussionists.
We're not really in it to make the world's greatest musicians. We want to make the world's greatest humans.
Diane Downs started the group in 1993 when she taught at Martin Luther King Elementary.
Played at the mall, and it pretty much exploded from there.
Now, more than 100 elementary and middle school students participate through summer camps, after-school rehearsals, and performances, everywhere from New York to New Orleans.
We've also been on Ozzy and Jack's World Detour, so we played Crazy Train for Ozzy Osbourne.
A lot of cool experiences. When I play music, I'm excited.
When kids are really young, they don't know if they can play music yet. They don't know if they're talented yet. So we just kind of give them a place to find out. We gather our kids from all over the place. If their parents are willing to bring them here, we'll take them.
It's a cool jam.
What an amazing group of kids. And what a great time I had sitting in. I'm Sam Corbett, and we'll see you again with more good news on Assignment Education. Assignment Education on KET is made possible with generous support from
the Vay Neighbor Carter Group at Baird. Wealth management with quality, perspective, honesty, and integrity. The Vay Neighbor Carter Group.rwbaird.com.